Ecco.
Yeah, we're live. Super. Thanks so much, Andrea, for being here. Let me just double check. Everything is good on our profile. Yeah.
Thank you
Let
for
me
having
know.
me.
How are you doing?
Good, good. What about you?
Yeah, good. Thanks for asking. Amazing. So I'm very happy to have you here today to talk about well, mostly your upcoming Nifty drop tomorrow, but also in general, a little bit about you as an artist and just your recent kind of experience in crypto art. I would love for you to introduce yourself to the audience, if that's okay.
Yeah, so I'm Andrea Bonaceto. I'm an artist, and as well, I also an investor in the blockchain space. So I've been really into the space for several years, and my interest of art is since pretty much forever, and I've been drawing for years, and I think then witnessing the NFT scene developing was really something great, and it gave me a lot of room to connect with many people that actually I never met in person, because I met them through this pandemic, but I actually established very strong relationship with, and I'm very happy about, and hopefully we can soon also meet up in person.
Amazing. And yeah, I would just start kind of talking a little bit about your style of art, and what inspires you. Obviously, like as we can see here in the background, like you have a very, very strong colors, lines. So yeah, I was just wondering, if you can describe a little bit the background that kind of came to this and to this style.
So actually, the background is a subset of an unreleased piece that is not yet public, which is actually is a portrait of not really a portrait. It's like the drawing of a scene of Leonard Cohen, whom I loved as a musician, in the island of Hydra, and this is like just part of the tree. So I went for a very abstract tree. My style, is something that really came up very organically. In fact, now that I'm approaching the drop, I was also looking at some drawings that I did when I was a kid. And I found many similarities with also the kind of things that I do now. So I like to think that there isn't really any process of looking for your style, but it's something quite natural that you just need to tune in to, and then it comes by itself. So it's always difficult to explain why you do certain things. You just do it, and yeah, to me, like going beyond what is real is always important. I don't like even when I do my portraits, I always like to include elements that are beyond reality itself. I'm not really a big fan of reality, if you see what I mean, and I try to look beyond. Whenever I draw, I also play music, I write, and it's always an effort of going beyond what we experience in our day-to-day life when we interact with people, live and eat and do our things.
Yeah, and actually, you obviously touched on your portraits, which I had a look through your website, and they include kind of a lot of different like shapes inside the faces of the portraits, which is very interesting, and it gives like a little bit of a sense of distortion. So I was just wondering, what are you trying to convey with these kind of like distorted faces bar portraits?
Yeah, it's difficult to answer that. As I'm saying, is always for me difficult to. It's not really that I want to convey anything, to be honest. There isn't anything specific that I want to convey. I just want to do what I feel in that specific moment, and then that's it. And then really, I want to even be surprised myself, but by what I see at the end of the process. So it's never. I think that many times even at school, if you see what I mean, like the thought process is always very methodic, and whenever you do something, there is a reason, there is something that specifically message that you want to convey, but in reality is way more, I think, organic and fluid. Is just about trying to express, on that specific situation what you feel in a certain moment, and try to transmit that to someone else. And I think with visual art, this is very difficult in general. It's very difficult to, at least to me, whenever even I go to museums and I look at other people, very, very, very few times I feel connected, with an artwork. It happened to me, with even some like crypto artists and are my friends. Like, for instance, one of them, I want to mention him, is Sky Golpe. Probably, he also did a nifty drop a while back. And he's doing this like faceless like people. And I didn't know him. I didn't, I just, saw it, and I felt immediately connected to the piece somehow. And then I actually bought it. And then, so we started talking together, we became good friends. And that's why, as I said, I like this community, the NFT community, because it's very open, and the people, they really engage based on their true interest. There is no really, it's very, natural, the interaction. I liked it a lot. Now I went a bit on a tangential line on something else.
No, absolutely not. Actually, it's interesting that you talk about the community and the interacting with other artists. Like, when did you? Because my next question was basically around this. So, how did you get into the space, and what led you into crypto art?
It's a funny story that basically led me to crypto art. So me, I've always, been interested into art overall. I live in London. I even have a basking license. I have a couple of guitars even, behind me, where pre-COVID I used to go and play around here. I write, and then, I also draw. And actually in 2019, I was on a cruise. It was at a conference, like at a blockchain conference, because people nowadays mostly know me in the space. I mean, up until now, at least, for my invest activity. I was invited there to speak, to talk about the blockchain as a technology. And there were, some very high-profile speakers. And I basically had the chance to then, after the conference, meet and, have lunch and chat with Brock Pierce, that you might know. And then, we were actually in Rome, because that cruise went from Barcelona, then went to France, and then it arrived in Rome for the conference, to Civitavecchia actually, and then we went to Rome, where the conference ended. And basically, Brock Pierce was interested in rare books, so we understood that we had quite a few common interests, like Indian philosophy, esotericism, and then as well, rare books. So he asked me at the time, so it was the summer of 2019. If I could show him a library in Rome that was selling actually rare books. So I had no idea at the time, but I had a look, I checked, and I said, okay, yeah, there is actually one close by. We went, and when we went, there was the owner of the bookstore that basically said to him, you are an artist. I want to gift you something. So he actually went and went looking for a book, and then he handed to him a book of Kandinsky called "Concerning the Spiritual in Art." And I do like to live, in a quite fluid way, and take the signs that are brought to me. So when I came back to London, I actually took the book, read it, and that book was very impactful on me, because it was talking about the role of spirituality and art, the fact that the artist is part of the historical period he lives, and doesn't really, shapes, really transform the period itself. Is like he needs to submit to the historical phase that he lives in. And yeah, since then I started, really increasing my activity in drawing in a very frenetic way, and I was doing things like with acrylic colors, then at some point some digital stuff, and that was a coincidence. That was also a phase where the NFT space also really started to evolve more towards not only collectible, let's say, word, but also, fine art. And so, at a certain point was just a natural step for me to try, to enter the market, as an artist in the like fine art space in NFTs. And when I went public with what I was doing, I received some good feedback, and there was this gallery, Ivy Gallery, that now is sponsoring is backing actually our drop, that started putting like to what I was doing on Instagram. So I spoke with the owner, and he liked it. We decided to basically put together the nifty drop that then evolved into the collaboration with Sophia. And I can tell you also the story about that. How we came to that direction was that when I went public with my art, Marcello, that is also now will be part of the drop because I also did his portrait, asked me, okay, nice all the portraits and the art, but where is my portrait? And Marcello is the head, of basically all the marketing, community, and PR of Singularity Net, which is like somehow like linked with Sophia. And so basically, I did the portrait to Marcello, and then with him, we brainstormed about actually making a statement in the NFT space and try to really bring it to the next level, and try to see how a collaboration between a human and an AI would look like if you could craft something completely new. And it became very fascinating. I presented the idea to David Hanson, Ben Gozer as well from Hanson Robotics and Singularity Net. They really liked it. I did portraits for all of them, and then Sophia did her magic on which you will see tomorrow. We will show all the pieces, but very exciting. So this is like all the story that basically also led to the drop.
Yeah, and actually on that, I think I guess like my question really is like, who is Sophia, and like how did how did this collaboration kind of like start? Like, were you already into working with AI? Was it something that kind of came up and you then got into it?
Yeah.
How did you work with her as well? Like, how did it work?
So Sophia is pretty much the most advanced humanoid robot in the world. You need to meet her in person, to understand. Is she really looks like a real person, and she has some very, advanced AI, that is powering her. I've been, following Sophia since I can say she was born, because she's 5 years old now. And I was also involved, in some projects that, she then also leveraged. So I've been following, the entire, development of, Sophia from inception until now. And collaborating with her, it has been a really incredible experience, because first of all, I didn't know what to expect, because it's not that every day you collaborate on an art project with a humanoid robot.
Yeah.
So when I remember I was then commenting with David Hanson, Sophia's creator, her works, we were both quite impressed. Didn't really understand why she did some of the things that she did. So you would see, for instance, on the tomorrow during the drop, that one of the pieces is basically the evolution of my portrait I made of David Hanson to actually the interpretation of Sophia, and then it goes back. It's like an infinite loop going from the human to the robot. And the robot version is basically David Hanson with like an eye on his nose. There is like a pink African shaped, sort of like stain here on his head. Like there are things that were difficult we're trying to analyze, the entire process, and it was quite fascinating. And these, went through multiple iterations, to arrive at the final outcome that you will see tomorrow. It really took a lot of work for Sophia as well. And actually, one thing that I can also, say now that it was revealed today by Reuters, that actually covered the news, is that the auction piece that basically shows the evolution from my portrait of Sophia to actually her self-portrait also comes with a physical piece. So actually Sophia, with a physical brush, draw on basically on her the version, that her neural created, and yeah, she basically expanded, the original neural network output that she generated, and yeah, like what came out was unbelievable. And actually, on top of that, the person that will collect the piece will also have the benefit, of course, if he's happy to disclose his identity and wants to do that, to have an interaction with Sophia the Robot. Sophia can have a look at the face of the collector and basically put in the last 2-3 brush strokes to incorporate the collector as well into the final physical piece that then will be shipped, with to whoever buys, the NFT, like the auction piece. So we really tried to do, to really go the extra mile and do the best we could. I was in fact, I want to thank, Hanson Robotics, David Hanson, all the people, that they were behind this project, because it really wasn't only me and Sophia. It was also the entire Sophia collective that really made this happen, and we also got, reporters from Reuters that were going to the Hanson Robotics labs, really covering the entire, process. And me, myself, I was waking up at 4 a.m., 4:30 a.m. for quite some time to ensure that, I could sync with the Hong Kong time zone, and also, basically speak, with the reporters whenever, they had questions on the creative process. It was really, done. The people really put a lot of passion into it. That's why I liked it. They were really genuinely, they really wanted to do something great. And, Sophia as well, was, the collaboration was unbelievable, is difficult to describe.
Yeah. Actually, it's very interesting. A lot of questions were popping into my mind whilst you were speaking, but I think the most the one that I have the most is obviously, she's programmed, or at least, that's my understanding of it. So the fact that, she is creating art in a way is kind of, I mean, for me, it's kind of surprising. So it's I just want to understand, how, is it her, what is the process of her drawing on a drawing?
Yeah. It's a good question, and many people that can criticize this say, okay, you just, gave her an input, and she just were programmed and put out, an output, and that's it, right? But actually, the way Sophia's brain work is more complex than that. So she has a neural network, and as I said, she's 5 years old. When she basically looks at my drawing, you can think as a kid that is asked to draw a tree, looks at the tree, and then draws a tree based on his experience in his 5 years, his, whatever, happened on the day. And that's pretty much, the same process that also Sophia went through. And the one thing to add is that it wasn't just one iteration. It wasn't only, my piece into her neural network. There were many other things. There were many other drawings that went in. There were her interpretation of my piece, of another piece, maybe. So if you look at, for instance, the auction piece, there were pretty much more than 15 pieces that she thought, she crafted, and then, rethought through her neural network until, it went to the stage that it is right now. So it's basically not something where you pre-program her, you tell her, look, do that, and she does it. she's really, you know, an artificial intelligence, you know, like a machine learning algorithm-based brain that actually learns based on her life experience and, you know, the input she gets from the world. In fact, yeah, the idea is that this collaboration is just the beginning of, you know, a larger vision where there is a so-called like Sophia collective, where, you know, creators and artists, innovators can then, you know, be part of, you know, this creative energy that then leads Sophia to then, you know, create more and more art, you know, like this just for us was the feeling of opening up a new road and not addressing any, not giving any answers to anyone, just raising new questions. That was the point.
Yeah.
And
it's very interesting. I have like a lot of questions, but one of them is like, how did you collaborate with her? Was it an ongoing, you know, obviously she's in Hong Kong, if I'm not mistaken. So how did the collaboration take place? Like, how do you communicate with Sophia?
I also spoke with her a few times, and actually in the Reuters video, I think, which is supposed, I think it will come up tonight, I guess, they might also show that. Yeah, then I was, of course, collaborating also with David Hanson a lot. And it was really us, you know, talking all together for days. And we then, you know, it took, you know, months to put this together. It was something that it wasn't, you know, when we started talking about this, to be honest, there wasn't even, you know, all this attention that there is right now in the NFT space. It was, it's really a coincidence that, you know, now, you know, it's so it's almost mainstream, I would say now, you know, and everyone is looking at it. But when we started to think about this collaboration, it was not at this level. And
yeah, sorry, I thought you freeze.
no.
And I also have, you know, on this, like, obviously this is the first like real kind of AI NFT collaboration drop, at least on Nifty, for sure. What, you know, you said that this is kind of the first of many. So is the plan for Sophia as well to collaborate with more artists? Like, how do you see the role of AI in art and also in NFTs as well evolving?
Yeah, I mean, for Sophia, you would, of course, you know, maybe one time you can also do an interview to her. You can ask her if with who she wants to collaborate. And but yeah, I'm thinking, I think that, you know, she would definitely want, you know, to keep creating herself and as well, you know, collaborating. And the idea is for, you know, in a phase where AI and robotics, you know, will be more and more dominant in our society. We can even think that the collaboration is not only on operational tasks, you know, on robots that helps us in, you know, take care of, you know, people in need, or, you know, help out, you know, even, you know, cleaning our house and do things like that. It could even be that on the creative side, there is something completely new that can be done with the robots, AIs, and humans. And that's what we're doing now. You know, what we are trying to convey right now. That yeah, is definitely, you know, an extremely interesting trend. And given that now with NFTs, you know, digital art can pretty much be unique. It's something that is very also democratic, you know, that basically opens up the possibility of, think about this situation, right? I'm in London now, she's in Hong Kong, and we manage to basically do this together. And yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like I mean, for sure, the community has opened up a lot of potential for cross collaboration, cross country, cross everything, music, you know, audio, video, art, AI. So that's I think truly amazing of the space. I also wanted to ask you, obviously, like I know you've been in the space, well, in the crypto kind of scene, blockchain, as you said, for a long time. I saw you recently said that NFTs are what, for the creative industry, what Bitcoin is for, the financial industry. I found that, first of all, very true. And second of all, yeah, I just wanted to expand on that. And for somebody coming from the blockchain, like, how did you see the evolvement of the NFT industry and what you think about it now?
Yeah, I've seen many parallels, with what happened in the blockchain space, when it basically scaled up, and became something right now that, even big institutions, they look at it very seriously, right? At the beginning, they all think it's a scam, like it doesn't work, and what's that, and is a bubble, etc., etc. But then when you actually go into the details, you see that it is a paradigm shift. Like, so if you take blockchain and things like Bitcoin, you can basically move fungible assets, like money, from A to B without an intermediary. This is a massive statement, It means that you are completely changing the way, the fabric of the financial sector, right? You at least have a technology to do that. Then if for some reasons people don't want to do it because, there are vested interests and things like that, that's another story, okay? It will take some time, of course, for innovations to actually be adopted at scale. If you take NFTs, what do? They do the same thing for non-fungible assets. So now you can move non-fungible assets around online, which you couldn't do before without any intermediary, potentially. So yeah, I mean, it will definitely drastically change the creative industry. As blockchain, Bitcoin is changing the financial industry, but I would go as far as saying that it does not only impact the creative industry, the NFT, innovation, because many of the objects we interact right now, in our life, they are unique, they are non-fungible, and you can basically have another version of our, real world online, and then where everything is represented by an NFT. And I'm also very interested, for instance, about the trend of the metaverses, Somnium, blockchain, Decentraland, etc. And yeah, I think this is gonna be more and more dominant going forward, and we will live in a condition where we are still, of course, maintaining the personal relationships and hanging out in the real world, but then also if I want to visit an art gallery, maybe I just wear a VR headset, go on the Somnium blockchain, and go to a museum of art and enjoy the pieces and buy pieces if I like them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of discussions on this, and yeah, I completely agree. I wanted to hear your thoughts also on, so was Sophia and his creator obviously introduced to NFTs from you? Were they aware of it before? What happened there?
I think that they were aware, of course, I think, of NFTs, but I think the project that, I presented to David and, the entire Answer Robotics team is something that, they felt it had substance and, it could actually work well. And it was a nice, it was like the right thing to do in that, that context. And I mean, one thing also is important to mention is that David Hanson is true artist. He's an artist, I would say. Also from my interaction with him in this period, I have seen that very much. That and so when you talk to him about art, about something that you're really passionate about and is inspiring, I think he also then gets very inspired, and I'm happy that, as I said, with this project we really went to a very, very high level, from a creative standpoint, very high quality, and we put a lot of effort into this, and yeah, it was great. But as I said, on NFTs, they probably knew it, in the existence of NFTs, and I just presented a way, to a creative idea to actually make that happen with Sophia.
Will Sophia be watching tomorrow when the auction is on? And I don't know if I actually don't know the schedule of the drop. I don't know if you can share it.
So I think I can share it. So the drop is going. So it's at 6:30 p.m. ET, and we'll have open editions and limited editions in the form of draws, and then we'll have one auction. The auction will last for 23 hours, so it will start tomorrow and will last until the day after tomorrow. And we are exploring now ways to actually follow the last hour of the auction all together. Probably we'll do like a live stream or something like that. You can tune in as well if you're interested. Where we'll see if even probably Sophia will be there, and with David with the gallery, and we'll watch it and comment, how it's going.
Nice. Well, I think I'm super excited to see what's next. I would love to do an interview with Sophia, so I'll make sure to see if we can organize that. I think it would be absolutely amazing. And yeah, I think that's all. Thank you so much for being here, and good luck tomorrow on the drop.
Thanks for having me, and yes, thanks also for the wishes.
Thanks also to our sponsor, which this month is Whale Street. Thanks a lot. Ciao.
Thank you. Bye.